Do you know how much a hot dog vendor makes in a day selling $3 hot dogs from a cart on the sidewalk? You've bought one. Everybody has. Steam, mustard, napkin, $3. Gone in 90 seconds. And you've watched the line. 20 people at lunchtime. So you've done the math. $3 times hundreds. Easy money, right? A cart. A grill. No rent. Here's what nobody tells you. In New York, one street corner costs more than a mansion. Not the cart, not the food, the permission to stand there. Today, the real daily take, the black market nobody talks about, and the $200 piece of paper that some vendors pay $25,000 for. Let's get into it. Before we count anybody's money, hit subscribe and help me out. It's free, and it's the only thing I'll ever ask you for. Noon, Midtown Manhattan. The sidewalk is a river. And parked in that river, a small metal cart with an umbrella. Steam pouring out. Mustard ready. Line forming. It looks like the simplest business in America. Here's the thing nobody tells you. A hot dog vendor isn't in the food business. He's in the real estate business. The dog costs him about 50 cents. He sells it for $3. Easy, right? Except that whole spread, every cent of it, goes to pay for 6 feet of concrete. And in some parts of New York, that concrete is the most expensive per square foot in the entire country. Hold that. First, the daily numbers. What does a cart actually ring up in a day? A slow suburban spot, $200 to $300. A decent city corner, $400 to $600. A prime Manhattan location on a good day, around $1,000. Through a window the size of a lunchbox. New York's most famous vendor has confirmed exactly that, about $1,000 a day, with roughly $600 in profit. $600 a day. That's real money. Multiply by 6 days a week, that's over $90,000 a year, from a cart. The very best spots clear 6 figures. But most vendors? $50,000 to $65,000 a year. Solid working money, not the gold mine the sidewalk suggests. Want to see it per hot dog? Let's dissect one. Menu price, $3. The frank, the bun, the mustard, about 55 cents. Propane, ice, napkins, foil, another 20 cents. Garage rent and the tow, 15 cents a dog. Permit rent, spread across the year, often more than $1. What's left for the vendor? Roughly $1. $1 per $3 hot dog. In prime locations, less, which is why the line has to keep moving. Always, and now the part that makes this business genuinely insane. In 1979, New York City did something fateful. It capped the number of food cart permits allowed in the city. Roughly 3,000 full permits. Frozen for decades. The permit itself costs about $200. $200 renewed every 2 years. That's the official price. Now watch what scarcity does to a piece of paper. Thousands of people want to sell food. Only 3,000 permits exist. So the permits stopped being permits. They became assets, traded on an underground market. Permit holders now rent them out to actual vendors. The going rate for a $200 permit? Reports have ranged from $18,000 to $25,000 for 2 years. On a piece of paper, the city sells for $200. Some vendors have reported paying far more figures, reaching 6 figures a year, just for the right to work. Advocacy groups estimate the vast majority of carts operate on rented permits, technically illegal, practically unavoidable. Read that again. The system forces honest workers into gray areas just to sell a $3 hot dog. And there's a second layer of cost, entirely separate. Some of the best locations in New York sit on park property, and the city auctions those spots to the highest bidder. A quiet park corner might go for a few thousand a year. A spot outside a world-famous museum? One vendor near Central Park was reported paying $289,000 a year. A decade earlier, that same spot cost $120,000. Let that number sit with you. Nearly $300,000 before a single hot dog is sold. Now run the math backwards, like the vendor has to. At roughly $2 of profit per hot dog, he must sell around 145,000 hot dogs every single year just to break even on rent. That's 400 hot dogs a day. Every day. No days off. One dog every 90 seconds, all day long, before he earns his first dollar of profit. The food truck had meal 61. The gym had its break-even members. The hot dog carts line is 145,000 dogs long. Okay, time to work a full day behind the steam. Meet Sammy. Midtown Corner. 9 years on the same block. 4:30 a.m. The commissary garage in Queens. Yes, carts have the same rule as food trucks. They can't legally sleep on the street or prep at home. So every cart has a garage it pays for and a tow to reach it. 5 a.m., loading. Ice, propane, buns, soda, water, roughly $350 of supplies. Every day. 6:15, the tow into Manhattan. Traffic already fighting back. 7 a.m., the corner. And the corner is everything. Umbrella up. Propane lit. Water heating. Steam rising. 7:30, the coffee rush. Nobody wants a hot dog yet. So Sammy sells what mornings actually want. Coffee, bagels, pretzels, bottled water. A cart is not a hot dog stand. It's a corner store on wheels. 9 to 11, the dead zone. Every street trade has one. Sammy preps onions, restocks, wipes down, waits. 11:45, the towers exhale. And for 90 minutes, the cart becomes a machine. Tongs, bun, mustard, napkin, change, next, 30 seconds per customer. That's the whole skill. Speed is the product. The food is just the excuse. 1:15, the wave passes. Sammy counts a solid lunch, and the regulars keep the whole thing alive. Sammy knows 40 orders by face. No words needed. The usual, Frank? 2 dogs, extra onions, no words needed. 9 years on one corner builds a neighborhood, not a customer base. Then the other visitor arrives, the one nobody wants. Health inspections. Placement rules. Distance from doorways. A cart parked 18 inches wrong can earn a ticket. Vendors report hundreds of dollars in fines every year for paperwork mistakes, not for bad food. Then, the afternoon reality of this job arrives. Summer sidewalks reach 120 degrees beside a grill. Winter wind funnels between towers like a knife. No walls, no heater, no door to close. And one problem the tourists never think about: there's no bathroom on a sidewalk. Vendors rely on friendly shops, careful timing, and iron discipline. 9 to 12-hour days. 6 days a week. Standing. Always standing. 7 p.m. The tow back to Queens. Scrub, restock, sleep. Today's sales, $940. Minus supplies. Minus garage. Minus permit rent. Minus propane. Sammy's real take, a bit over $300 for a 15-hour day that started in a garage at 4:30. Now let's rewind, because this cart built New York. Street food has fed this city since the 1700s. Oyster carts, corn sellers, pushcart markets by the thousand. For waves of immigrants, a cart was the first rung of the ladder. No English required, no degree, just work and a wheel. In 1926, an inventor patented the modern cart cooking plate, steam table, and a small cooler in one. The hot dog cart was born and never left. Today, the same story repeats with new accents. Halal platters, tamales, tacos, coffee, fruit cups. 10,000 vendors work New York's sidewalks. Same ladder, same first rung, same iron sidewalk. Now the ugly side of the corner economy. When rent is that high, some vendors get desperate. A few years back, a Manhattan cart made national news for charging tourists $30 for a hot dog and soda. No posted prices. Confused visitors. Quiet outrage. The city responded with rules. Prices must be posted clearly, so here's your traveler's tip. Free of charge. If a cart has no visible price list, walk to the next one. Honest vendors post prices. It's that simple. And most of them are honest, working brutal hours inside a system that charges them rent like a storefront while giving them a metal box and the weather. And weather runs this business like a silent partner. A sunny weekday in spring is a gift. Rain empties sidewalks in minutes, and winter in a northern city can cut sales in half. Some vendors simply park the cart from January to March, but permit rent doesn't hibernate. It bills all 12 months. Which makes the summer months carry the whole year. And the true jackpots are event days. Ball games, parades, marathons, festival weekends. A single stadium afternoon can equal a normal week, which is why the best vendors read the city's calendar like traders. So how do the winners win on the sidewalk? Rule 1. The corner is the entire business. Foot traffic beats food quality every single time. Offices, hospitals, courthouses, stadiums, tourist landmarks. Rule 2. Sell the whole day, not just lunch. Coffee at 7. Dogs at noon. Pretzels at 4. Rule 3. Drinks are where the margin hides. A bottle of water costs pennies and sells for $2. On hot days, drinks can out-earn the food entirely. Rule 4. Speed is revenue. Never let the line stall. And Rule 5, the end game. Own the permit, not just the cart. The cart is a few $1,000s. The permission is the fortune, which is exactly why the system is under so much pressure. Advocacy groups have pushed for years to release more permits. New laws promise a slow annual increase, but the waitlist runs thousands of names deep. Until it clears, the black market keeps setting the real price. Thinking of starting your own cart? It's more accessible than you think. Outside New York, the barriers drop dramatically. A used cart runs $2,000 to $5,000. Permits in most cities cost a few hundred, not a mortgage. Ball games, county fairs, construction sites, festival weekends. It remains one of the cheapest food businesses in America to open and one of the hardest to stand inside all day. The first week teaches the real lesson. This job is 90% logistics and 10% grilling. So the final math, the number you clicked for. A slow day, $200 to $300 in sales. A typical city day, $400 to $600. A prime corner in Manhattan, $1,000 and up. Profit after food costs, on a good day, $300 to $600. But then the permit takes its slice, and its slice is enormous, which is why the honest yearly range sits at $50,000 to $65,000 for most vendors, with the very best corners clearing six figures. And the difference between those two numbers? Not the recipe, not the grill, not the hustle. 6 feet of concrete and whose name is on the paper. So remember your sidewalk math from the start? $3, hundreds of customers, no rent? The sales were real. The no rent part was the fantasy. This cart pays rent like a storefront for a square of sidewalk. So the next time you're standing at a cart in the city, $3 in hand, mustard incoming, remember what you're actually paying for. Not 50 cents of hot dog. A 4:30 a.m. Tow from a garage in Queens. A 12-hour shift with no walls and no bathroom. And rent on a piece of sidewalk that costs more than the house most of us will ever own. That's what $3 buys in New York. If this changed how you see that cart, subscribe. Because next time, we're counting somebody else's corner.